That's not the Psycho I used to know.
Things change.
Hey people, Nemesis Tech back with another video. So around a month ago, Apple announced its move away from Intel, a company they've been working with for over a decade, and with it from the x86 platform altogether. I will talk about the aftermath, covering 5 points, providing updates and predictions. The first point will be the obvious one. Why is Apple going ARM? Since around 2016, Intel's 6th gen i3, 5 and 7 CPUs based on the Skylake architecture launched and spawned a myriad of altered versions as successors. While revolutionary at its time, it came at a cost. Various bugs and security flaws have since been discovered in this pursuit of performance. To add to that, fabrication problems have been plaguing Intel, who ever since has been only able to bring refined 14nm to the market, where competition is on 7nm and some even at 5 now. Source of these problems are rumored to be executives at the top losing focus of the company's philosophies.
Welcome to
Intel HQ
version 2.0.
What have they done?
Still, Intel was the only chip maker able to supply Apple with the volume required. At Skylake times it was also the leading company, only recently AMD have become a serious competition and innovator, and I still doubt they can provide enough volume production to become of interest to Apple. But Apple themselves have become silicon designers as well, though only for mobile devices, obviously the iPhone and iPad. Fairly recently it also became clear for every enthusiast, and Apple even earlier, that ARM-based CPUs can fulfill many needs. The last indicator would have been when Amazon made rentable data centers based on ARM instead of x86. It became clear that with enough know-how, and Apple clearly has it, it can fulfill all needs, especially in the low-end Mac and MacBook space. What it boils down to is this: Apple can make all products true walled gardens, with everything being designed and or built pretty much in-house. With this, they don't have to bend down to any supplier or its shortcomings, although one part will likely remain Intel board, the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth module. Knowing why Apple made this move is the one thing, but what are the benefits for you, the consumer or the potential buyer? As previously mentioned, Intel has been stuck at the 14nm process, and no matter how much refinement is put in, it cannot compete with leading 7 and 5nm lithography. Apple's newest chips, rumored to be featured in the newest iPhone coming out this year, are made on the 5nm process, giving incredible power savings and processing power improvements. Apple's A12Z SoC in the iPad Pro 2020 is touted by Apple to be comparable, if not faster, than most Intel-based laptops. Geekbench 5.2 for sure contributes to that statement, with standout wins for Apple's SoC being single-core scores of 1122, beating Intel's i9-9880H MoAlp chip by 1%, and Intel's 4-core 8-thread i7-1068G7 beat by 6% in multi-core. Impressive. All that while consuming a fraction of the power. Now this power savings can be used in two ways. For one, a vastly longer battery life for MacBooks, predicted to provide a staggering 20 hours of browsing and office work. The second way to use it would be upscaled versions with more cores and faster clock speeds to provide desktop class performance, although this is not a one-to-one gain, a massive gain nonetheless. One problem remains for the transition period. Not all programs will work out of the gate, at least not at full speeds. Funny enough, Apple is doing such a big transition for the second time. The first time being around 2006 when they left behind PowerPC. So if they have engineers from that period still employed, they will have some experience to shoulder this round and make it as painless for the consumer as possible. Be it a blessing or a curse, it is very likely Apple will allow users to access iOS and iPadOS apps directly on your Mac. So Mac gaming might become a thing. For example, PUBG Mobile and Call of Duty from the iPhone directly on your MacBook. It's not ideal, but a fun thought I had. Microsoft already did it, and no one should be surprised if Apple follows suit. I would be more surprised if they didn't. So now we know the why and the benefits. What's the roadmap? Apple is making the switch as fast as possible. The first MacBook Air equipped with an A chip is coming out this year, and presumably the last Intel-based iMac at the start of this August month. The Mac Pro and iMac Pro still have some time on shelves left, so for around 2, maybe 3 years, you will still be able to buy Intel-based machines one way or the other. But will this affect your workflow? Well, obviously the transition period is not going to be flawless. Also, niche apps may experience longer times of suboptimal performance stemming from the fact that ARM and x86 are not the same, and programs having to be specifically made for either or each separately. Now, apps that will not outright be made for ARM will have to be either emulated or not run at all. That depends on Apple and if they have a system in place to automatically emulate these apps or not. As far as I am aware, Apple will be doing this with its Rosetta 2 emulator, first implemented in Big Sur. Rosetta 2 is more or less a translator that turns x86 commands into something the ARM SoC can understand, but it comes with an inherent performance penalty. The question that brought me to the subject was clearly, how will the industry react? Now this is highly unpredictable and speculative on my part. I will try my best to see the bigger picture and convey it. So first of all, there are not many companies at the scale of Apple, and they're not the first company to diverge from Intel. Amazon certainly has similar scale. The question is, does a company need to be approaching either in terms of scale? No. All this shifting may as well have given Intel's customers, like OEMs, a bargaining chip to gain benefits. Big OEMs like Dell and HP, while presumably not having much experience in ARM, they do have it, and they have experimented with it openly, always on notebooks if some of you remember them. And by the way, talent is not far around the corner to be hired, with wide adoption in Raspberry Pi development, on the software side at least. These OEMs already produce many things in-house, like motherboards, power supplies, RAM, and whole server systems. Adding another major part may seem attractive to them as well. What concerns me is the possibility of software development pivoting further to ARM and away from x86, providing lesser quality apps for your Windows systems. Intel's problems are just starting, and with them x86 in total. Missing innovation from Intel's time at the top have led to x86's competition catching up. At this point, ARM seems ubiquitous, and RISC-V is laying in wait to jump out of obscurity, from handhelds to now wide adoption in compute. And if Intel doesn't restructure as fast as possible, they may as well lead to x86's death outright. Because while AMD is showing innovation, I cannot see them alone saving it. Yes, David and Goliath have to pull on one string now in face of a greater threat.
Now it's just you and me that's left. We can make a difference. One last mission. I've connected.
ARM
Is disabled. Bring her in.
Roger that.
AM
I'm en route. Stand by for some serious...
Marketing.
With that said, we have come to this video's end. If you liked this content, leave a like, and if you have thoughts of your own, leave them in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.
23 years ago, the alien Ceph invaded our world. We stopped them. I stopped them. But the Cell Corporation seized the opportunity, stepping into the power vacuum, quickly growing in size and influence to the brink of world domination. Cell took us all by surprise. Even me. They call me Prophet. And I'm the only one who knows what's coming. Cell are not the real threat to our world. The most powerful alien, the Alpha Ceph, still lives. He showed me a glimpse of the future. He knows what drives me, what I believe. That being a good soldier comes down to one thing, to one single question. What are you prepared to sacrifice? Remember me. When they came to me with the nanosuit, I sacrificed Lawrence Barnes, the man I was, to become Prophet. When my own flesh and blood held me back, I sacrificed that too, replaced it like a spare part. Victory costs. Every time you pay a little more. I saw a glimpse of what's coming. And there was nothing left of me to stop it. When the greatest combat machine fails, what do we do then? What do I